What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Life's a Dance podcast. I am your host, Trey Kulada. Thank you, as always, for joining me, pressing play in an effort to expand your mind and live your most authentic life, be your most authentic self, and realize your full potential, because that's what this podcast is all about. And I have decided that for the rest of the month of March, I'm going to dedicate each of my podcasts to a different aspect of our mindset around money. When I think March, I think green. When I think green, I think money. We covered love last month. I think it makes a lot of sense for us to dive into money because it's so such a popular topic for a lot of different reasons. And I want to help us kind of demystify this thing and this nebulous concept, this kind of scary, elephant in the room, because I know a lot of people are feeling tight around money right now. And today, specifically, we are going to talk about, we're going to bust one of the biggest myths about money, which is that it's scarce. So many of us, when we think about money, we go into, we almost like instantaneously like feel tight about it. And there's something wrong with it. It's almost like a dirty word. And, we're not supposed to talk about money with our friends. And it's like this big fucking secret. And honestly, I think this is one of the biggest things that we need to rewire in terms of our belief system, right? Is that money is like this dirty, secretive thing, and that it is scarce, because I'm sure all the powers that be, and here's the thing, if there wasn't enough money to go around, there wouldn't be all these fucking multi-billionaires out there living high on the fucking hog, right? Money is out there to be made, and you can make it to where it's not scarce. It's just about, I don't like the idea of fake it till you make it. I like the idea of, I want to reframe that into believe it until you achieve it. Money is an energy. And if we understand that energy and embrace that energy, we can attract more of it and create more of it in our lives, okay? Because it's not just about wishful thinking, right? So many people think that manifestation is wishful thinking, like just sitting around and wishing for something to happen, or just waiting for, a winning lottery ticket to land in your lap. Although that is one way that money could manifest itself. You can't rule that possibility out. Because if you do, then that in and of itself is blocking your energy towards receiving money. Okay, so again, it's really complicated. It can get really complicated, but at the end of the day, I think it's really simple. Whenever we think about or hear about money, or if we're looking at our bank account, let's say, and we're watching it shrink, it's hard for us to think about how money is not scarce, okay? You start to worry about it. And really, if we can just kind of switch the way that we frame it, so that if money is tight and you keep seeing the bank account balance in your, in your online checking or something going down, let's take a step back and rethink that. Maybe your bank account is on a slingshot, being pulled back and opening up and going down so that it can, almost like a bucket of water, right? It tips out, and now you got to fill it back up again. Okay. It's getting ready to receive more. But when we overall as a society believe that money is scarce and we become scared and fearful of it, we are, again, blocking our ability to receive more. And where does this stem from? Obviously, a lot of the ways that we feel and think and act around money come from our parents. So for me, my mom was an accountant. So you can imagine how an accountant acts around money, okay? It's every little bean was getting counted, okay? And it wasn't just the money that was getting counted like that. Just like acts of service and things like that were always on what felt like an account balance sheet. But what happened is, so with my mom, for instance, she saved her money. She was a saver, save, but never spent any time using the money that she saved to go out and enjoy herself. So she was stressed out all the time, always living in that. And this is prime scarcity mentality, right? Save. Don't spend a penny. And when you do that, it's like torturing yourself, because we can't go forever and ever just saving and not rewarding ourselves. Or like if you're on a diet and you're trying to implement a new eating, lifestyle. I hate the word diet because it just feels transitory to me. But if you're trying to implement new eating habits, it's like, you know what? I've been eating like this for so long and eating really clean. So I think, if I do all this throughout the week, on Friday, I'll reward myself with a little dessert. You know what I mean? That's kind of how you're supposed to do it. But my mom, again, was just so afraid of losing her money that all she did was save it. And to this day, and then she was kind of stingy with it. And like, we lived in a nice house in a nice neighborhood, and that was always her thing, was like living in a big ass house and having all these nice things. But it was like, she never had any friends over. We never had any parties. We weren't entertaining anyone. It was just a life of solitude, stuck in this glass house of things that nobody else got, just that whole keeping up with the Joneses, right? God, it was frustrating. So a lot of the things that I saw and adapted and started to believe about money was that people with money were stingy and all they cared about are material things. And so I mentally was blocking myself for the longest time by thinking this way, that, well, if I somehow accumulate money, I'm going to be stingy. I'm going to be greedy. I'm only going to care about material things and the way things look to other people. And that's not who I wanted to be. I'm very much, I like to think that I'm a giver. I thrive around community, and things of that nature. So, but here's the thing, when we accumulate wealth, in the monetary sense, it allows us to be more of who we already are. So why should we be afraid of that? So today's really more about food for thought. I'm not giving any practical kind of tips or tricks on how to reverse this, other than I just want to give you something to think about in terms of the way that you approach overall how you think about money. Is it a scarce commodity, or is it something that can be created infinitely throughout time and space? If anybody it can literally be created from nothing. If you create a piece of artwork, you can go out and sell it. You can refurbish a thing. You can, perform a service for somebody else and you get paid. So literally, we are creating money every single day without even realizing that it has this power and that it can so easily just kind of manifest itself into reality through a little ingenuity and a little creativity. So quit thinking about money from a standpoint of scarcity, because that's what I call the big they, want you to do. They want you to be living in lack. They want you to be thinking that it's scarce. They want you to be running up your credit card bills and doing all these things and not respecting it, so that these higher ups in the banks and everybody else can have control. But I'm here to tell you right now, I have been on a lifelong mission to figure out how to play by these banks and the government's rules in order to find the loopholes and figure all these things out and play the game to win, so to speak. Because here's the thing. We can sit here all day and get pissed about the way that, government is and taxes and blah, blah, blah. But would you rather sit around bemoaning this whole situation? It's like, don't hate the player, hate the game, right? So let's hate the game and let's play the game to win, because we can do that if you're smart and you read books about how to invest your money, there are tax loopholes. I mean, the government makes all these loopholes within the tax code to benefit people that know how to use it. So let's educate ourselves and again, create money. This is another form of creation, you guys. Like figuring out ways to lessen our tax burden. I know this is super boring shit, but at the same time, I love it because it's like, dude, if I can beat these people at their own game, I'm all about that. I'm all about that because I was not into competitive sports, but I'm into competitive money making, I guess we'll call it. So anyhow, money is not scarce. It is out there for each of us to create and manifest and receive. And let's just start believing that until we achieve it. Okay. It's not fake it till you make it. It's believe it until you achieve it, which will be another episode entirely. So, I love you all. If you got anything out of this, please make sure that you share it with somebody like-minded, so that we can spread the wealth, spread the intelligence, spread that good juju. And, yeah, until next time, let's dance.